It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Muriah Afolabi Brown. As always, we have YK in the building. Woo! Drum rolls. YK, everybody has missed you. They keep calling. Where is YK coming back? 2 whole months and extra. Is it 3 weeks?
1 month.
You said extra 1 month. Jude, that's 3 months.
See, that 1 month was punishment. the other one was I went to go and look after my grandchildren. You see, this 1 month, 2 weeks. You know, because before the lockdown, me, I'd stayed at home for 2 weeks.
Yes,
so my own is I've done 1 month. And then with this extra 2 weeks, it's 6 weeks. I really die. In fact, I'm on the verge.
Well, how did you manage that whole month at home? You know, you couldn't go out. You like to party.
Well, the parties had really reduced, and even the parties that I was invited to, I just said no. Yeah, I'm not coming. Apart from anything, if I have coronavirus, I don't want to give it anybody. So let me just stay in my house, and I would. Meanwhile, that stay in the house, I was Monfi, lemon. Agbo, everything. I was drinking everything. Everyone drinking under the sun. Bitter cola.
Are you for real?
Who wants to get koro?
Seriously. So, YK, did you have any slight symptoms of cough, sneezing at some point?
Actually, I didn't. I didn't cough. I didn't sneeze. In fact, about 2 days ago, I was sneezing. My partner said, what is this? I said, I don't know. If I catch anything, it's you people that have given me now. I didn't bring it.
Yeah, but it's good. Yeah. We were really proud of you that you're a responsible citizen. Because a lot of Nigerians came back and they still just went back to work. But you took that initiative even without the government telling you. And you stayed home for 2 weeks.
If you have the kind of daughter I have, you will be forced to say, do you want to be case 31? You want to be going about, but I'm still in the house. I said,
sit down, JJ.
Well, when I just thought I talked of my life.
You now use you as the
person that spread it in Nigeria. Even for that 2 weeks, because of course I encountered people coming from the airport and everything. So that 2 weeks, every day I was praying, no, please don't.
Mike, I hate to put you on the spot, but we heard that lots of people gave their fake information on. I mean, you wouldn't know who gave, but when they were asking you for information in the airline, how did you put in the right information?
They gave us a form to fill.
Yeah.
And I filled the form. I put all my right information.
So did they contact you?
They never did. Nobody ever called me. I put my phone number.
So maybe your plane
next
wasn't
of kin.
Okay.
The only place was when they put, where do you live? I put home or something like that.
Right.
I put home because...
But your phone number was right.
My phone number, everything was right.
So
when I got to the counter, he says, why are you putting home, house? I'm going, my house. I should put address. So I put the address, shrine address, because once you go to the shrine, you can get me.
But nobody reached out to you?
Nobody did.
So that shows our contract tracing might actually not be as effective as we think. If they didn't reach out to you to call you to find out if you're showing symptoms.
Maybe because nobody on my own flights tested positive.
But you came in after the first case. You came in, so your flight should have been actually on the watch.
It was, I don't know, it was probably was, you know, the flight on the 8th.
Yeah.
I came on the 15th, the flight on the 13th. There was somebody, I think it was that girl that had it. So they reached out to all the people on that flight. But I don't think anybody on my own flight. And I sat next to one Oyibo. It was all prayers. All prayer. I became very prayerful.
Yeah. Let me come to you. How are you?
I'm good. I wanted to dig into YK's head because now we are doing communal tracing. People who have it who think, God forbid, it's not my portion. Whilst there are local people denying that it's not possible that we have such a thing here. That's an excuse to take money from the people, from government. But the people who should know, who suspect that they do have it, who think, instead of going to that place, I'd rather just stay at home. Yeah. How you knowing that you've come back, how did you not get into that kind of fear mode that you lock yourself?
They isolate you.
And deny the reality?
The truth of the matter is, okay, Mariah is doing...
Yeah, but generally, but in summary, we're happy that you're back home, and we're happy to have you back on the show.
And I'm happy I don't have corona.
Yes, we're happy you don't have coronavirus. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll go through the front pages of the news. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Okay, let's start with the nation. As usual, lockdown extension, right decision to take, says Buhari. Prospective Nigerian returnees now 2,110. Police special forces to battle Lagos Ogun criminal gangs. How to revamp economy, says LCCI. And Easter service Ondo to prosecute erring pastors. Which story are we taking here?
The LCCI story, because that's where we should be facing now.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't read the whole thing, but one of the recommendations was that there should be a 50% cut in VAT, amongst others, for the end of the year, whilst we then review how the pandemic has affected our economy. But I didn't read the entire article, but that was the first paragraph of what I read.
What I would love us to focus on now.
But should we take the lockdown or the prospective Nigerian returnees?
Let's just take the major headline.
It's that one. Yeah, it was in the Punch, but it was here as well. That's well, in Punch it was 10. Here is 8. 8 to 10 Nigerians have tested positive. Those who want to come back, and all the people in the Nigerian embassy, they're all shaking. But yeah, they have come in contact with them because they didn't have symptoms, so they've put them in isolation. They've given them a 14-day.
And on a related story, a young lady, I think she contacted me via Instagram. Her name is Chubby Timmy. Chubby Timmy, right? She's been a fan of the show, and she's actually in the US with her mother. Her father is in Nigeria by himself. They're elderly. And she wants to come home. And she was told in the US that she cannot get tested because she doesn't show symptoms. They're not showing symptoms. They only allow those showing some kind of symptoms at a certain stage to get tested. Now, that's a problem. In the UK, on the other hand, they are allowing them to pay for their test, and you get tested. And that's where we got these 8 or 9, 10 people that have been positive. But in the US, according to Chubby Timmy,
the Nigerians.
Yeah, she's Nigerian. They're not allowed. If not symptomatic, you can't get tested.
But that's not right.
That's the issue she's having.
In the US, already we see that they're overwhelmed with the cases that they have on their hands.
Yeah.
So probably that's a decision.
I know, but this is the Nigerian embassy now. This is not.
No, you are supposed to go get tested. Bring that result to the embassy.
Any lab, anywhere you can.
From
each lab she goes to, they tell her if she's not symptomatic, she cannot actually get tested. So we have to speak to the chairman of Nigerian Diaspora Commission to see what they're doing concerning that, because Nigerians are complaining that they're not allowing them to get tested, especially in the US. UK obviously is allowing them to test. Moving on now to the Punch. Again, the COVID-19 Nigerians awaiting evacuation from the UK test positive. I am ready to cure 5 COVID-19 patients for free, says Professor. Police arrested 130 hoodlums over Lagos attacks. Osun councillor using Facebook to attack Oyetola, arrested. Lockdown, Kwara alleges opposition's plot to incite residents. How to access 50 billion naira COVID-19 intervention fund, says CBN. We'll hand over palliatives to governors, says federal government. And Buhari extends lockdown as cases rise to 343.
Let me jump on the cure.
Yeah.
So there's a professor, a Nigerian medical researcher, Professor Ayodele Adeleye, who at the press briefing on Monday saying that he had a cure which will cure coronavirus within 3 to 5 days. And he says that, his students had reached out to him knowing that this is what he does. He researches on viruses like this, asking if he had a cure. And he has, done a test. He's calling on Nigerian government to do, because he says his processes are documented, unlike the HIV person that they did not want to take his test result, his own cure. He has a documented process of how his own method will cure coronavirus. I think it's time that we should stop shying away from all those things that Nigerians like to do. All those are professors that would like to discountenance what he has said. Please, this is when they should try it. If they don't give him cases, they will think he did not do a proper research. So they should have...
because I think this time we should actually look inwards. Start looking at our own things that we can use.
But okay, there are other arguments that are saying that if we have the solution, we've not cured HIV, we've not cured polio. The point is that, so as it's great that we have people who have options for COVID-19, but there have been other diseases we've been battling all this while that they've not been able to cure. So why all the focus on COVID-19? Doesn't make it wrong, but just say that there are other diseases that Africa is battling with beyond COVID-19, which is something that we should all look into.
Some medical practitioners that say they can cure HIV.
Yeah, we've heard about that. Let's pick another story in Punch. I like the story. It says how to access the 50 billion naira COVID-19 intervention fund. The CBN is saying, because there were news around saying that you have to pay to access this fund. No, you don't have to pay. It's for small, medium enterprises. Households can actually access this 50 billion naira fund by CBN. So it's being paid through NIRSL, Microfinance Bank. You go to their website to check the details, how you qualify to get this fund. So I think households they can get up to 3 million naira. Small business can get up to 25 million. That's a lot of money. So you should actually go online to check how you can qualify for that. Anything else nobody has the IG story? Inspector General is sending a team to help support. We'll take it elsewhere. Moving on to Daily Sun, COVID-19, Buhari extends lockdown by 2 weeks. Robbery, Inspector General deploys intervention squad to Lagos and Ogun. Food crisis, drug scarcity loom. Governors to henceforth share palliative, says federal government. Can demands reopening of churches. That's not correct. Boko Haram terrorists kill 7 in Borno. Let me take that story. Daily Sun. Khan did not demand reopening of churches. What they were saying is that churches cannot be closed forever, according to this article. And they're saying that it is important to know that the entire world is not looking to God in this situation, that they shouldn't have totally closed out the churches, and then at some point, churches should be open so that people can offer prayers. That's pretty much what was saying in that article.
And then the lockdown on the prices.
Yes, go ahead,
the food has gone up, you know, from 17,000 to 19,000, from 21,000 to 28,000. So food has gone up, and a lot of the sellers are saying they're finding it difficult to transport because the police will stop them. This particular one said the police stop him and they will collect 5,000 naira or lock him up.
I even interviewed my tomato supplier. So she said that they have to pay. They'll find their way to my self-pay, but to transport their goods, so they paid the transporters up to 8,000. So imagine from my 12 to my own place, end of Lagos, somebody pays 8,000 naira. The reason is because they then the buses have to settle on each basket of tomatoes and goods that they are carrying. So as important as it is, we should stay at home. We understand that food is essential, and that's why they allowed it. I think government should start to check on all those things. They have reported how Gary has gone up. I said it, and the price in the Punch report, Sun report confirms the price in another market and another market in Ojo where they confirm. These are markets that are open, that people can go to buy. Pharmacies in Abuja are also having their shelves empty now. They've sold all their drugs and utilities and items that they are selling. In the story in Daily Sun,
who has a governors henceforth are going to be sharing palliatives. I think it was the chairman of the Governors Forum, Governor Kayode Fayemi, was telling the Minister for Human Resources, I think his disaster initiative was the humanitarian, saying that they cannot continue to be the ones to distribute palliatives in the various states, that they need to hand them over to the governors. Initially, according to the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, they're saying that they actually had engagement with the various local governments, and they were saying that that cannot be effective, that they should hand it over to the governors.
Totally disagree.
So, you think it's better if the ministers go directly to the local government?
The SIP data that they have, because I'm aware that the social intervention program has data among states. Lagos, I interface with someone who confirmed that they should use that data that they have. Anything that goes into politicians' hands end up in the wrong hands. We've seen it happen in Lagos past week.
Okay, moving on to Vanguard. COVID-19, it's 14 more days of lockdown, says Buhari. Armed gangs terrorize Lagos, Ogun communities. Why we haven't been conducting massive community testing? Saudi Arabia suspend group prayers for Ramadan. And Lagos records 2 cases, discharges 6 more patients. Okay, let's talk about...
So let me take the Saudi Arabia suspending. Ramadan is approaching, I think, less than 10 days away now. And Saudi is saying that the regular congregational Tarawih prayers will not be holding in Saudi Arabia. But we have small mosques, what they call Ratibi Mosque in Nigeria here, still conducting congregational prayers, even though we're dealing with coronavirus. I can confirm the one in my locality. And a lot of other ones. I've gotten reports from Mautu Estates, the one in Mautu, conducting congregational daily prayers. And now congregational daily prayers are more important, but Saudi has, stopped that in their own country. We are doing it here. Even though we have a virus that we cannot see, what we cannot control. All the ulamas, all the scholars have said what they should say on this, and people are stubborn and refusing to obey. I can't understand.
The president yesterday actually addressed this issue in his speech. He said that in Saudi Arabia, in Rome, all the people that brought all these religions to us, they are all doing lockdown. That's why is it Nigeria that you...
And there's no law that says you must. The laws that give the exceptions have been followed in those countries. They've told us over and over, but we have imams, people who are stubborn, conducting prayers. I think there should be stronger enforcement in Lagos.
Concerning insecurity, the Inspector General of Police spoke through the DCP Frank Mba yesterday, and they'll be sending in additional intelligence and operational assets to help reinforce their force in Lagos and Ogun State. We have to run up very quickly. Why we haven't been conducting massive community testing? You have that story?
Yes.
Go
So
ahead,
the federal government was responding to criticism on why they've not been conducting massive testing, and they are saying that they can't conduct such testing on all cases that are not symptomatic. They have to wait until people exhibit symptoms, and that yes, they've created labs, but those labs are underutilized, and those labs should start to do proper testing for cases that are symptomatic that approach them.
Because they're expensive. So they said, I can't test 100 people and get 10 tests and 10 positive, and 1,000 people and 10 positive. So it doesn't make any sense. It's too expensive to do that. So they'd rather do it in small bits, and it has to be those who are showing symptoms.
But are people willing? Because ordinary Nigerians are off-the-shelf drug users.
Most people from time we have been off-the-shelf.
Unfortunately, that's all we can take on front page. When we come back, going into the hot topic, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So, President Muhammadu Buhari yesterday announced an 14-day extension to the lockdown in Lagos, Abuja, and Ogun State to combat the coronavirus pandemic. According to him, it has become necessary to extend the current restriction of movement that was set to expire yesterday. Now, let us hear your thoughts on this. You can call us on 070-8066-8014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourTVC so we can read your tweets. Okay, so those who are criticizing the extension are saying that when you hear of a lockdown abroad in different countries, they give you specific indices, you know the numbers, you see how they expect the numbers to project. They have this projection that they can see, and their extensions or lockdown are based on scientific facts that they can see. But according to some of the critics, they're saying, are we just extending because it looks like the nice thing to do? And what are the indices we're considering to extend 2 weeks? Because it's not just about extension, it's about the fact that the economy slows down, people end up losing their jobs at some point, businesses might end up running down. So people are now wondering on what basis, especially is our president extending this lockdown?
That is the same question that came into my mind when I heard about the lockdown. I am not saying the lockdown isn't good. It is good, but what are you doing? Why are we locking down? Are we locking down because America is locking down? Are we locking down because our cases are not as many? So are you going from house to start testing people to make sure that, because, okay, if we lock down, we lock down from 100 and something to 300 and something, that's in 14 days, that's not too many. When you consider America of almost 600,000 now.
Right.
500 and,
there are over 20,000 deaths right now.
And England are getting 900 deaths a day. Now, we are still... We have not started. What is... We need to find out what is the solution. I've been racking my brain. But what is the solution? Because people make their money daily in Nigeria. I am a victim. I am suffering. I don't have money. And my business has been... Before the government locked it down, we had locked down.
Right.
And I thank all the people that live in Shrine, they're all okay.
Thank you for taking us there, because I'll come to you, Nima. Something like a Shrine now is been locked down, but even when they lift the lockdown, before Shrine start beginning to come back to what it used to be, it might take some time.
It will take time, and I have to pay salaries. Right now, I can't even pay salaries. I don't even think... NEPA brought bill last week, 470. We have not used light, 478,000. From where? Where do you want me to pay that one?
Estimated bills.
Obviously, they're giving us estimated bills because if it is not estimated, we are not using the kind of light we were using before. We have been locked down for over a month.
On what basis? Yeah.
So on what basis are you giving me this kind of bill? So if I am suffering like this, I can imagine what other people are. And I mean, while I don't agree with these boys who are, but they're having cabin fever, they're having hunger virus.
Frustration.
It's frustration. Now we need to look at the solution that will be relevant to our own society.
Yeah. Let me hear Nima's views on this. Yes, nobody's objecting the extension. We're just saying on what are the reasons being considered. Yes, go ahead.
I'll try and explain. So yes, well, our numbers of cases and deaths might not be the same as recorded abroad because, of course, our nature and our DNAs are different. That's one. Number two is that when I heard before the lockdown, the case in Alimosho, that's one case, and a possible traceable 2,000 cases. I said a lockdown was imminent. It was the most important thing. So I believe that this lockdown, yes, was based on advice and number of communal transmission being traced now. The case that happened in Mowe in Ogun State, when the governor of Ogun State was addressing the public, those 3 cases had no contact with anybody that just arrived. They've not gone anywhere. They're market women. They live in their local area. So we are dealing with something that we cannot see in that magnitude. This morning in Kaduna State, they are tracing, because one person traveled from Lagos in a public bus to Kaduna, and of course interacted with people in that public bus, and those people have gone into the community. They are saying they have about 57,000 possible traceable cases in Kaduna. Imagine that those testing start to happen. So what I was thinking the government would do with the cases we had in Katsina, Kaduna, Niger, and Kwara now, and the Benin, of course, is a total lockdown of all states. That's what I expected. Not just Lagos, Abuja, and Ogun that we've been dealing with. Because in Lagos, Abuja, and Ogun, we now have communal transmission happening.
Let me take this call from Tonya. Good morning, are you there? We lost that call.
In a residential area like Alimosho, for instance, where it's highly residential and they live a very communal life, people, there's no fencing in areas like Idimu and Co.
But you see, going by the president's previous speech, where he was, I think he had encouraged people to ensure that they support the government in this drive towards testing, because the truth is that we shouldn't just wait for the government to do this. We also must be willing to come out and say, listen, I'd like to get tested. Many Nigerians would rather just stay home. That's a problem. So what many people would have loved from this speech, this second speech we heard of the president, where people, aside from the fact that people are going to be going door to door to knock right now, Nigerians must come out to get tested. How much testing kits do we have out there? Do we have enough? We just said yesterday that Nigeria has only tested 5,000. When Ghana, then Lembe has only tested about 37,000, and South Africa 80,000 have been tested nationwide. We are only still doing 5,000, a little over. So what plans does the government have to ensure that we do that multiplier effect for the testing? How many hospitals have been engaged to support the government in testing? How many? So those are the little figures that we see that shows that, okay, aside from lockdown, we are doing more to ensure that we do a good holistic coverage of this containing of the virus. I think I have another call. Good morning, are you there? Hello? Hello, good morning, are you there? I think that person is still listening to the TV.
So according to the coordinator for the task force, Sani Aliyu, they said that all newly open laboratories in the country are underutilized. The governments have made provision for testing as much as they can. What is remaining is for Nigerians who suspect, who know that they've been in contact with a case or two, to willingly come out. So we need to talk, look with it, which is why I wanted to dig into why case rationale for isolating ourselves.
Let's think about it. How many people go to the hospital if they are ill? We will do self-medication at home. So that's what I'm saying. Let's look at our own environment and do what is relevant to our own environment, because we are not going to come out and say, oh, I think I have it. How many people are going to go? I remember someone brought a mattress to me when he said something. So I said, Abi she korotimu. He just.
Yeah, that's our reaction.
So that's our reaction. We will never, God, it's not my passion. So even if I'm ill, I will be saying, Allah Maje, just because I refuse to face that that reality.
Okay. It's possible that you say Allah Maje because you don't. Maybe I sit with my neighbors every day, the regular people I sit with. So if somebody were to say to me, this is your cough, have you checked? Allah Maje, no, don't wish me bad thing. But if I knew for certain that somebody that I had been in contact with, that person was a confirmed case, Kilo Tuku. is at that point is the height of irresponsibility.
Can I ask you this question?
For you to say you're not coming
If you are
out.
in contact with somebody who is a positive case and you don't know that person is positive,
you wouldn't know.
that person, wait, listen, that person now workers. Look, you and I meet together now. Then you have it, and I don't know you have it. You now go and you go and get it. You are not going to call me and tell me I have Koro. You will treat your Koro in your house. I don't know. So if you come and meet me, I don't know that I've been in contact with somebody who has corona.
Which is why we are also questioning government secrecy, protecting the identity of those people who are in isolation.
No, we don't want that because of stigma issues.
Hold on. As much as we fear stigma, this is a worst case that we have on our hands. For everybody, like Wike said, that will not call you to say, sorry, I saw you the day before yesterday, but now me, I have corona. The people that will not call you, that you would never find out.
A situation. Imagine from the president's speech, we hear that X amount of hospitals per state, maybe 5, 6 certain teaching hospitals in certain states have been equipped with X amount of testing kits. If you feel that you might have it, right now people are thinking, I have to go either to Yaba to get tested. The idea that you have to leave your house to go to Yaba to get tested is the problem. If you know there's a hospital within your own axis that you can walk into and say, sir, I suspect I'm coughing, I have this fever. Can you please test me? That is a bit more effective than knowing than having just one place where you get tested. That's an issue for us right now. I can
confirm to you that the NCDC will not just come and test you because you think you have a fever or you're coughing. They will wait for you to get more facts. Initially, the parameter was that, have you been in contact with somebody who just arrived? Have you been in contact with social person and contact tracing of those who just arrived? Now that we're dealing with communal tracing, people have stopped arriving.
The point I'm making is that for these next 2 weeks, what's the strategy? We didn't get a strategy. We're just being extended for extra 2 weeks. If the strategy is that, okay, door to door, because we heard into papers yesterday that government plans to do door to door. How do you plan to go about door to door? Should I expect a knock on my door and say, please get tested? If you're telling me that you don't want to test everybody because
I would
it's going to be
expect a knock on my door with a questionnaire. Somebody asking, how have you been the past few days? And a probably temperature check and then further questions. Because we are doing communal
So we need to hear that, know what the plan is. We can't just hear extending 2 weeks. For what exactly are we doing this 2 weeks?
Like you're saying,
Mike, I'll come to you, please. Let me take this call. Good morning, are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, my name is Balogun Mukara.
Hello, Balogun. You're live. Go ahead.
Yeah, all I'm asking is, I'm not saying government should not extend the stay at home, but they should give a palliative for every Nigerian. Because now, here in Ikorodu, there's no palliative. There's no palliative at all. And now you say people should sit down at home for another 14 days. The money I had with me, I've spent everything finished. Now, how will I survive for another 14 days?
Thank you very much, Balogun. That's another important point we're going to discuss about palliatives. Now, initially, it was giving the poor of the poor. Now, the next 14 days, even those going to the middle class are saying that they can't even afford, they're running out of money.
The only people that have money right now are the rich of the rich. So you are saying the poor of the poor. The rich of the rich are the only people that can survive right now. Look, when I look at my account, and I know how many texts I get from people daily asking me for money. When I live here now, I have to go and find out I'm going to feed the people at Shrine. I'm going to look for, I don't have money. What is the next step? I can't go to a bank. Banks are closed. So what is the next step? How are we going to survive? We have to ask ourselves, because we cannot compare ourselves to London and America. Their own situation is totally different. Their own life is totally different to our own. They are even not used to spending cash. We spend cash.
Let me take this call from Worry. Good morning, are you there?
Yeah, hello, good day, good morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Okay, my name is Dr. Bridget, calling from Worry.
Yes, go ahead.
You ladies are doing a good job. Yeah,
Thank you very much,
I'm calling, actually.
Thank you so much, Doc. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I want to talk about encouraging the government to test asymptomatic people, because we know that asymptomatic patients are actually spreading. So if we have a lot of underutilized labs and underutilized isolation centers and staff, why don't we start testing asymptomatic patients instead of just waiting for them to become symptomatic? Because if you are asymptomatic, you are still spreading the virus actively.
Thank you very much. And that's part of the accountability Nigerians are looking for. So, for example, Jack Ma sent us X amount of equipment. Can we get a breakdown of what was sent? If it was 100,000 or 1 million testing kits, how are you planning to deploy them? Okay, Lagos is getting this amount. Let's see some kind of transparency.
Let's be realistic, Morayo. For the cases that are confirmed that are in the hospital, after the initial test that confirms you positive, you have to do 2 tests to confirm you that you're totally out of the woods. So 2 negative results has to come out. So let's calculate. They said the test kit is about 10,000. That means for per patient, they will spend 30,000 to confirm you that you're totally out of the woods. So let's imagine now that we now push it into the populace that our palliatives cannot even reach, because we must admit that this is 50 years failure of system.
Of course.
We don't have proper system, no data, no bio data, no banks, nothing. NIMC gone.
Do you know how I feel sorry for that commissioner? The Lagos State Commissioner. He has aged overnight.
Is it not the health commissioner? The commissioner.
The health commissioner.
That one has aged.
Oh,
man. I feel bad for him.
He has.
You see his profile picture, it looked really nice. Now, he looks like an 80-year-old man now.
Yes.
I say the worry is just written all over his face.
Yeah.
So we can't be testing asymptomatic cases just like that.
And
let's start from screening and questioning.
I know we have to wrap up, but I have to say this is very important because we are missing the point here. I know you have to wrap up. Can we come back to because it's important?
Let me wrap up. Go ahead.
My uncle got coronavirus. He worried, and he has kidney problems. Before they tested him, it took them, and he's in England, it took them a long time to test him. His wife, they refused to test. So she's at home treating herself.
Just in case.
Just in case. She's not even feeling fine. So the problem is not even just here. There as well. So we really need to...
So there's a global issue of testing kits, obviously. So it's not just Nigeria.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we have to wrap up on this, but as we know, our president has extended it to 2 extra weeks. We have to stay home. We're going to be discussing what's going to happen the next 2 weeks, economically especially, because Nigerians are not talking yet about what's going to happen to their jobs. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll discuss the release of inmates by the federal government.
Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So last week, President Muhammadu Buhari approved the release of 2,600 prison inmates nationwide in a bid to contain the spread of the coronavirus in the nation's correctional services. The decongestion exercise have come with loads of criticism and some support. Joining us is the Deputy Controller of Corrections and Public Relations Officer of the Nigerian Correctional Services, Mr. Chuks Austin Njoku. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Yeah, good morning. It's my pleasure to be with you this morning.
Yeah, great to have you. So 2,600 inmates were released. What was the criteria used? I know we saw it in the papers, but for those of us that missed it, what exactly was the criteria used to decide on this, who the 2,600 people would be?
Yes, there are very obvious criteria that was used for the release of these inmates. Remember, it's quite different from the ones the governors are also going to do in their respective states. For these ones are very, very obvious for the Presidential Committee on the Conjunction. We have, first and foremost, those that are 60 years of age and above. Those are 60 years of age and above. We have convicts serving 3 years and above with less than 6 months to go. They have less than 6 months to serve while in jail. We have inmates with ill health likely to terminate to death. They will have inmates with mental ill health. They will have inmates with options of fine not exceeding 50,000 with no pending case. In that aspect, we had 882 inmates that fell within that category, and the amount of fines that accrued within is 21.4 million, and the federal government is going to pay these fines as directed. They will have convicted pregnant women. They will have convicted women with child in the correctional center. They will have convicted inmates with minor offenses, not capital offenses anyway. They will have convicted inmates who spend 75% of their sentence after remission.
Right.
That is the category that was used.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
So
what about awaiting trial?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, like I said, the awaiting trial is, that's what we call jail delivery. This fall within the functions of the chief judge of each state and attorney general, and still under the what they call amnesty or the prerogative of mercy. So we are compiling lists now from the states on awaiting trial list, those that have minor offenses and other criteria that we use. We are expecting this list before this weekend for the presidential committee to also work on.
So
I'm with you.
Okay, I'd like, this is due to the coronavirus that we are dealing with in the country presently. I'm sure that's why we are decongesting like this. What exactly are other measures put in place to, as much as possible, prevent further spread or possible spread of this in the prisons?
Yes, I want to make this clear to the public. Actually, COVID-19 facilitated or enhanced the release of these inmates, just like it's an emergency in every other aspect, like the medical system, in all other aspects. Everybody is now seeing the lapses that have been occurred before this COVID-19. Like I was telling somebody yesterday, conflict is not all that negative. There are positive nature or aspects of conflict too, because it helps you to know what you are not doing well. Now, these people that were released, 70 under presidential pardon, and the 2,600 under implementation. This committee, headed by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister for Justice, was inaugurated August 2018. They have gone around the state, all the facilities, and interviewed the inmates, and they got this number. But suffice me to say, there are steps taken now for such issues, especially congestion. Why we are doing this because of congestion that is very, very prominent in the system.
Excuse me, sir. Please, have you tested these prisoners for COVID?
We have not. We don't have that test.
You don't think they should be tested even before you even release them, Gonsef?
No, but you see, they are like the committee, the presidential committee on COVID-19 said. There are protocols for testing. These people have been with us for months, some years.
Okay.
They've been with us for years. So there is no suspicion.
Possibility.
There is no because
I disagree. Because you are coming outside. The prisoners are inside, but you, the warders, are outside. You can bring it into them. You are the people mixing with the outside world.
We do a lot of screening for anybody. That's why visit was suspended. Court was partially closed. So we are not receiving any new inmates into the system. And
all right, we have to go.
We go through a lot of screening. Of screening before you get to it. And there is minimal contact with the inmates.
Yeah. I do agree with you, but I do also strongly agree with YK that those who have been released should have actually gone through that test before being released out to the public. But either way, we thank you for joining us.
We have a medical team. They have gone through the primary test.
We get that.
Testing. They have the primary testing.
Thank you.
And they also, before they go, we also empower them. Most of them have learned 1 or 2 trades while in custody. So we also empower them so that they can fit into society. And I want to beg the society also to receive them back to the society.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for joining us today. We'll be speaking with the Deputy Controller of Corrections and Public Relations Officer of the Nigeria Correctional Services, Mr. Chuks Austin Njoko. When we go on a break now, we'll come back. We'll discuss other topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So still on coronavirus, we have the Deputy Chairman, House Committee on National Security and Intelligence, House of Rep, Akoko Southwest Federal Constituency, Abuja and Ogun via Skype. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Good morning. Yes, I am.
So we're told that Ondo State had made a U-turn in relaxing their lockdown directives. Remember, the governor did initially had said that services could hold. But then he was a U-turn. Could you tell us a bit why that happened?
And I think it was pressure from the religious leaders who wanted to worship for Easter. But I think the governor eventually saw reason and then reimposed the lockdown.
Great. As a member of the House representative in Ondo State, we'd like to know what are your own, or what have you done so far concerning palliatives to your constituency? Have you gotten any support to do that so far? And what have you done in your community?
Well, I've reached out to, I think, about 1,000 vulnerable people, mostly widows and older women, because we felt that they're more vulnerable at this point in time. We reached out to them, and they were still looking for extra resources from friends, from NGOs to be able to support more people. At the same time, we're actually making efforts to reach out to the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs to ensure that the payment to the vulnerables approved by the President gets to those who qualify in Ondo State.
Is your state on, are you on lockdown?
Yes, imposed by the state government, because there are 3 cases in Ondo State now.
Oh, okay. You see, because even if you, my own problem is this, lockdown is fine, yeah? But most people, after you have stayed home for 2 weeks, because here it's daily money we get. When you lock down people, the poorest of the richest of the rich become the poorest of the poor as well, because they don't have money to eat. They don't have money to go to the market, because there will be a time you cannot even afford to go to the market because you have nothing. Banks are not open. How are you going to make sure that everybody, because it's not just going to the poorest of the poor now. Somebody just called and said, look, the money that he had for 2 weeks, it has gone. He doesn't know how he's going to survive for the next 2 weeks.
So how are you helping members of your state generally, the government?
Well, in my state, it's slightly different because restriction is mostly in the urban areas where they can't do businesses, they can't open. But in the villages, people are still free to go to their farms. But what we've done is try to encourage them to ensure that even while farming or engaging in activities, that they observe social distancing or physical distancing. The truth is, even the rich are becoming poorer, because if you don't work for 2 weeks, you don't work for 3 weeks. I mean, you've got to find a way to raise funds. Money doesn't just grow while you're idle. So it's a challenge, but I think steps are being taken to find ways to reach out to at least, let's start with those who are really, really in bad situation, and then we can move on and how we can reach out to others.
Okay.
Can you confirm if Ondo State has a database for to actually get to the poorest of the poor within your state?
And I'd like to add to that, because that was going to be my question, because we want to learn from each other. We are having issues with palliatives across the country because the poor of the poor are saying it's not getting to them totally. So maybe we can learn from your own constituency. How did you identify that 1,000? What did you do exactly to get that 1,000 people that you give to?
Let me give you a typical example. I reached out to the traditional rulers of all the communities. They know the poor people. I give, there's a specific community, Oka, where they already have a registered association of widows and vulnerable people. So I just reached out to the traditional ruler, and then he referred us to the president of the youth association. So in all the communities, we liaise with traditional rulers, the chiefs, and the wives of the kings, because these are the people who can help us. We're not just going around identifying people on our own, because I mean, I can know people in my village, I can know people in my ward, but I may not know everywhere. So we're using the traditional institution to identify those people.
Fantastic. Have you had any issues of unrest in your community? Because we're experiencing that in Lagos State, where boys are taken to the streets and setting up bonfires here or there. Are you having any of that in your state?
No, we don't envisage any, for as long as the law enforcement agencies know that there should be some form of human face to their enforcement.
Great, great. Okay, it was nice touching base with you. It's important for us to just hear from everybody across the state to know what they're doing and ensure that everybody's on top of this issue of containing the virus. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. We've been speaking with the Honorable, for the representing Akoko Southwest Federal Constituency, Abuja and Ogun. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, we're going to go on a break now. On a lighter mode, we come back, we speak to Kaffy. Can tell us what kind of exercises we should be doing during this period. Trust me, I need it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So on our final lap on this show, in this segment, we'll be discussing with the dance and fitness coach, Kaffy, to share tips on how we can remain fit during the lockdown. Good morning, Kaffy. Are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Good to have you. So what have you been doing so far with this lockdown? Now we have 2 extra weeks. Tell us, what have you been doing?
You know me, my own life is naturally a life that keeps in shape regardless of lockdown. Lockdown doesn't lock me down. Right about now, we're about to go out there to distribute food to people, for people. So I've been doing a lot of that lately. And self-isolating in the house with my people, you know, keeping the social distancing protocols and all of that, you know, trying to keep safe and healthy at the same time.
Let's talk about your sharing food, because I know you had to buy food at exorbitant prices at the time when you least expected it, and you did a video. What exactly led to that, and why are you even sharing food safe? Maybe you're dancing.
For me, this is something that I've always been doing in my own little way before this thing became a pandemic. You know, and I'm really concerned because I've been in that situation in my life before where there's really nothing to eat. You understand? And I live on daily allowance. So I can now imagine, I particularly just put myself in the place of people, you know, because I know how it feels. I've had a first-hand experience. And I just couldn't bear it. So I don't know. I think it's just God's grace that allow me to have the opportunity to use my platform.
Kaffy, let me just give a small confession. Listen, it's not easy for people like me. Number one, after the kids are done with their portals, their schoolwork and everything, it's movie time. And for every movie, you need a snack. So I go to the fridge to get a snack. We get a drink, the kids together. After that, then lunch is getting ready. After the movie, you now eat lunch. Then we take a nap. Then after you nap, you come back again, you take another snack.
Snack,
this is snack time. This is snack season. How do we contain this continuous desire to actually snack during this period?
Consumption.
Yeah.
What I want to say is that a lot of things, when it comes to fitness and wellness, is very, very mental and psychological as well. If you look at it from the angle of, I'm bored, I got to eat something, and whatever, you're going to overeat. You have to calculate the same way you do it pre-lockdown. If it was only one snack they have a day, keep it at one snack a day. Don't increase it just because you're locked down. It's like the case of a pregnant woman that says, I'm eating for 2. You are not eating for 2. You're eating for you. You get what I'm saying? Whatever you eat, it's most important that it is nutritious and it has the right amount of nutrients for your body. That's all it requires.
But you can snack on fruits all day. Is it not safe?
You can snack on fruit all day if you have fruit. That's fine. But also, you know, everything, you cannot overdo everything. You can't overeat fruits. You're going to have, you know, tummy aches and all of that. So everything needs to be done in moderation, no matter how safe and healthy it sounds in terms of eating it. So you can eat banana in food, but do you want to eat 100 bunch of banana a day? No, you're gonna be sick.
Well, Miriam would say fruits are fattening actually, because Miriam is keto and fruits are actually fattening.
Not all fruits are fattening. I don't agree with that generalization of the nutritious concept of fruits. Fruits, some of them have high level of sugar. Okay, that's the natural sugar, the fructose, those are the fructose family. While some have a high level of fatty acids, you know, like the avocados and all of that. Some even can give you a little bit boost of energy. Most of the ones that are fatty are usually energy boosters. But because in Nigeria, we are very much after quantity than quality.
Right.
We are used to eating in bulk.
That's true.
We don't eat based on the fact that we know that one avocado is enough.
Right.
I know the food.
Kaffy, I have to ask you this question, because now they are arresting people on the road for exercising. Nobody wants to be bundled up to the police station. So what kind of, basic things do you do in the house? Do you skip, or because people initially take out their kids, their family out to walk, but they can't do that anymore because they're arresting them. What kind of exercises can we do at home?
There are actually hundreds and tons of exercises you can do at home. One of the fastest ways you can actually engage yourself at home, especially for people who are not professional enough to come up with exercises by themselves, YouTube is your friend. That is your best time to make use of your internet accesses, your Instagram and WhatsApp. Instead of wasting data on unnecessary broadcasts that are taking your data, save your data for, life-nourishing things like learning something online or even understanding some fitness protocols that you can do at home. So just go online and just look at fitness at home. On YouTube, you're going to see 10,000s of videos that you can use to adapt to your own kind of environment.
How is your family, your kid, your son? How are you guys coping?
They're very, very fine. We're all adapting. Everybody in my house is aware. We're all agents of change here.
Great.
And I'm speaking to you now, my family and the dancers that live with me. We're all packing up meals, relief items for people.
Fantastic.
So we've been working together on this. Even the children are aware.
Please protect yourself.
We are trying. We see this. See, my sister, at the end of the day, it's people that will help people. People that have to help people need to go out to help people.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So we can do it in moderation, but we need to go out to help people if we can.
Fantastic.
And I can. So I have
Let me get
to
in one more question for you. Go ahead, Nima.
If you catch Koro while you are helping people, what will you do?
If I catch Koro will not stay in my body.
All right,
so we'll knock it out.
My body is too healthy for it.
Kaffy, I wanted you to talk about the inflation of
My body is too healthy for it.
Kaffy, I wanted you to talk about the inflation of prices that you did a video about.
Yes.
How was your experience? What have you been buying that's expensive?
You please say that question again. I need to know exactly.
No, because you remember you said you did a video on ginger I went to go and buy.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
No, it was just annoying because at the time we went to the market to buy, because I saw this coming, so I wanted to buy food stuff in bulk to start helping people when it gets really bad. Then the government has not even declared lockdown yet, and people have already started inflating prices in a ridiculous manner.
Right.
Like, price inflation is expected in situations like this, but not 1,000% increase, not 2,000% increase.
Right.
So it was so ridiculous. And the painful part was that the people that are inflating their prices are the same people who have people like them that need to come and buy this stuff. So if you're a pepper seller and one tomato is to be 20 naira, you are not selling it for 500 naira for one tomato. How can somebody like you, a fellow hustler, buy pepper in the house?
Right.
So I'm like, you can have profit, but let it be minimal. Let's understand that this is a pandemic, a health crisis, not an economic crisis where make the most of the money you can. So you can go out and jolly. This one, if we don't solve it, we are not jollying anywhere. People are going to die.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Kaffy. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Really appreciate your thoughts on this. And we wish you the best. Please give us feedback. Send pictures to us. Let's see how the distribution went. We'd like to definitely support you somehow.
You know what I do?
Yeah.
Early in the morning, when I wake up, I do my exercises. Because it's so easy for me to put on weight. So easy. So I skip. I do... I even ask Mariah to join me. She refused. Not sit-up, push-ups. I do push-ups. I dance. And I do between an hour and 2 hours. So, when I now eat...
Because you look great, actually.
When I eat, I am very happy.
Yeah. But okay, I mean, I would like to...
At least I lost weight.
I'd like to extend this conversation to our viewers, because you can call us on 070-8066-8014. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag TVC. Let us hear what you plan to do this next 2 weeks. What are your plans? I mean, we are here. We're not doing anything. Aside from eating. What are your own plans? I think I have a caller now. Good morning. Are you there?
Good morning.
Yomi, thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
My name is Biodinoyo.
Go ahead. You're live.
Yes, I'm sorry. I can't actually see you now because NEPA just took the light. So I hope I'll... but it's okay.
We're in Nigeria. We understand. Go ahead.
Okay. First, I think the reason why people don't actually take this seriously is the fact that the information we get, especially from the number one man of this country, are sketchy sometimes. Yesterday, the president said they've been able to trace 92% of the contacts. If you are able to trace 92%, why put us on lockdown for another 2 weeks? Now, let's say, okay, the 2 weeks we will eventually get 8%. Yesterday, NCDC again said we have 20 new cases. You can see the discrepancies. And now, let's now go to the palliatives. For crying out loud, 14 days will be another great danger, especially on us that we've been trying to manage all these boys in our area. 14 days, another 14 days, I don't forecast hell, but I'm very sure it will go beyond what we've seen. I see no reason why the advice where the federal government cannot, they know everybody to some extent. If you have 40% of people with BVN, even if it's 10,000 naira, you know the least people. At least you can check with their account. This will go a long way. Because for crying out loud, I have been able to manage some boys around me. At least I know if you don't manage them, they will end up being attacking you at the end of the day. But how much am I going to spend on boys in my area just for them not to attack me? So I think the president should look at these palliatives. The palliatives are not getting to the poor. They are not getting to the...
Thank you very much for joining us, Biodun. You see, the point you made is very valid, and that's why Nigerians are talking about this extension. We agree that there's a need for extension because obviously we have a pandemic, but at the same time, it has to be the palliatives and plans for the social welfare of Nigerians must also be adhered to at this point. And that's what we really need to have a conversation. This entire week, we'll be looking at that at some point, to bring in people, to tell experts and politicians and leaders to tell us exactly what their plans are to ensure that this next 2 weeks is the Nigerians are well taken care of to some extent.
I think, Mariah, what we should do now is even amongst ourselves, try to now think of ideas, because this thing is not just the government's problem. It's everybody's problem. Because if you catch it, it's wahala for you. If I catch it, it's wahala for me. So we are all praying not to catch it. What can we do? Because very soon, you will not even need to call Kaffy or anybody to ask, because you will not even have food to eat. If it continues like this,
by God's grace.
Very soon.
By God's grace and mercy, to not reach that point, YK.
Amen. 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 But I've been hearing you every day. It's your passion. It's not my passion. Reality. Let us face reality very soon, because very soon we now took to buying dry fish, because dry fish will not spoil if the package light.
Let me take this call from Yakub. Good morning, Yakub. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Go ahead, please. You're live.
One thing I love Sister Yeni most is that she always talk straight to the point.
Yes, sir.
The last caller said something that you don't see any reason why they lock us for another 2 weeks. This kind of a thing that we find ourselves, if you watch the foreign news, you will be scared. That's number one. Number two, I think there should be total lockdown every state in this country. You know why? You lock down, federal government locked down FCT, they locked down Ogun State and then Lagos State. Do you know tomorrow now? Yes, I run to Ogun State where I live. I've been there for the past 2 weeks. Then tomorrow night in Ogun State, they will tell us that we can go out from 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Maybe you want to go and buy something. Morayo, if you go to the market in Ifo here, sometimes I drive to that market to go and buy something. I couldn't come down from my car because they don't even know what is really going on. I can tell you for free, if you send your crew to that market tomorrow, Morayo, they will never even like to enter the market because you don't know who is carrying things. See, Morayo, finally, let me even say this. They say they lock us down another 2 weeks. This 2 weeks of a thing, what do we want to use that 2 weeks for? And then you are telling us the test is expensive. You have to put it in a place. Some of us, everybody would like to go there to test how it is. And then you are telling us that you cannot do that because until you develop a kind of a symptom. Who do you know it has those things, those symptoms?
Thank you very much, Jacob.
The federal government...
Thank you very much. You're right. We have to decentralize the center.
Nigerians must accept that, we don't have that system. We've failed to do it. Our government has failed us over the years. We cannot just get data overnight. What we can do is learn from this and take seriously building up data, but we cannot get it overnight. So everybody might be hungry, but not everybody will get the food. Everybody might need the money, but not everybody will get that money. But must everybody stay at home to fight this pandemic? Everybody must stay at home to fight it. Sometimes, a case that I was talking to my neighbors because people keep coming and saying, we're hungry, tell them. I said, okay, let them put this food down, give you this job and put the virus down. Can you deal with it? And they admitted immediately that they cannot on their own deal with it. So we cannot continue to give compel government to find solution to a pandemic and then give government another problem and say, you must do that, you must, whether or not you can.
And I think Nigerians should.
We must come to that reality. We cannot continue to play to the gallery every time. Everybody's shouting food, insecurity, hunger.
I think Nigerians also should reduce the amount of international news they're watching because they make them do
No, how many Nigerians are watching international news? People are politicizing it. Shebi, you saw the papers this morning in Kwara State that people are beginning to politicize the lockdown. It's not everything that we make a joke of. It's not everything that we must come and talk, whatever. No, let them just hear me, I'm talking. It's not everything. The truth is, most of these boys, we were discussing it, a lot of these boys they deal on betting, and Premier League is shut down. There's nothing to bet on.
Yes. Some of the boys are the ones on the road that
not engaging the hands.
Sell us gala and all that.
Apart from that, a large number of ones causing this insecurity are the ones betting.
Those are the ones that pack you when you are going to go and look for visa.
Right.
So there are so many. Look, the reality is, look, some of the phone calls.
Have a call, Binkpi. Binkpi, are you there?
Yeah, good evening.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Please, if you permit me, I would like to speak in Yoruba because my grandma is here. She said she wants to hear what I have to say, please.
Oh.
Okay.
Can I?
Go on.
Go ahead.
Mama spoke with me, oh, God. She's
you can't speak it.
It's about the first lockdown,
yes.
Distribution of there shouldn't be the first step to take. That,
just say it in English, we'll be fine.
That the distribution of food is not supposed to be the first thing that Nigerians should understand. The lockdown is now looking at if they are locking us down because of food. Because everybody is not talking about health. They are not talking about, they don't even understand what is going on. The other day, Mudaya was talking about the way they show the isolation centers in other countries, and they are not even saying out here that, okay, for people to actually believe that this thing is real, see what people are going through, see what people are facing, people that are tested positive and all that. All what is here is they test positive, the next thing is recovered and all that. What did you use for them? When they were there, how did you treat them and all that?
Thank you very much.
And even this food they are even distributing, the Nigerians should understand that it is not about food right now. It is about war. If you get, I pray it doesn't get to that time. If you get to a time that even when you are sick, you won't remember food. I can use myself as a case study. I was ill last week. That's why she prompted. I was ill.
Are you sure you didn't have Koro?
I was vomiting. I was throwing up.
Are you sure you didn't have Koro?
Just listen to me. I had blind space and all that. As I was vomiting, I was giving those things, those symptoms. And after I vomited, that's the first symptom. I have blind space, that's the symptom. I have this thing, you understand what I'm saying?
What did you now do?
I called the emergency this thing. There was no response.
Sure.
There was no response at all. All this one that said, no, the call, they will come. This one, they will do this, they will do that. It's their whole life.
Now, thank you very much, Binkpi. You see, that's the real issue. And that's why Nigeria is recording 5,000 cases of the tests. It's a big problem. That's why I have no problem with extending, but there's got to be some kind of strategy that we're putting in place to ensure that we reach as many people as possible. So people like Binkpi have called, showing symptoms in some way, and nobody has come to her to test her.
It's malaria that she has.
We know it's malaria, but at least test her first if she has the symptoms. That's the problem.
The more people you test, then you know that, okay, really.
Let's take
see,
this.
You don't want to bring us back to this point we are in
really,
2 weeks ago.
If we test enough people and we know we don't have it here, we can open up and just close the borders. Say, okay, if you want to come from London or America,
quarantine 14 days.
Quarantine, simple. And you will pay for your hotel.
Yeah.
Let me take this tweet.
What we need to do is make sure we don't have it here, so we can open up and move about. Yeah. We are suffering.
Right. Right. Let me take a few
Andrew says, please help make a call out to Nigerian scientists to send in ideas or ways of creating a self-testing kit for COVID-19. Make this a competition and let us have a winner before the end of April. I believe that scientists out there, we have cases. See,
but when you said that, we too, there should be a solution. We should ask, because government too needs help. Government needs ideas. So people,
are they even open to listening to
your view should bring out funds, bring out ideas to give government, not just palliatives, not just palliatives.
You have to wrap up, yeah.
To help the government find a solution that is that
can benefit everybody.
It's common. What's the word?
Common in our environment.
That will help our own environment, not London's environment, not America. Africa, Nigeria's environment.
Saying during the break that when we
unfortunately.
perfect it, we can even make it a tourist attraction over the years. We should have something that
We have to run up, unfortunately. That's all. We've run out of time. But thank you so much for joining us. That's all we can take on today's show. Tomorrow is another day. As I said, and I promise our viewers, we will be treating this issue of what Nigerians plan to do in this next 2 weeks. It's not going to be easy, but hey, we have to do it. We have to do it collectively. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.